The moonstone locket glinted in Cassion's pale fingers, dangling just out of Bridget's reach. Rain hammered against the windows of Clark Manor as she knelt on cold marble. Her white gown was already torn from their earlier struggle. "That's Mother's locket," Bridget said, her voice steady despite the humiliation. "Give it back." "Father said everything here is mine." Cassion's smile was cruel, practiced. At 13, he had already mastered torment. Bridget lunged for the locket. Cassion shoved her backward. She struck the floor hard. "Serves you right, sister." Before she could rise, Cassion clutched his throat. Foam gathered at his lips as he collapsed, convulsing. "Help, she's poisoning me. Bridget's trying to murder me." Lord Ambrose Clark burst from his study, wolf eyes blazing gold. Viscounts and earls gasped, stepping back from Bridget. "What did you do to your brother?" Ambrose's voice thundered. "Nothing. He stole. He is your brother. You dare harm the Clark heir?" Outside, a royal carriage bearing the Ravenshade crest rolled through the storm. "The locket is in his waistcoat pocket," Bridget insisted. Ambrose checked. "Empty. You dare slander your brother with lies?" "Enough," Ambrose roared, silencing the crowd. "Apologize now, or leave this manor forever. Renounce your place in the Silver Moon Pack. Choose." Bridget tore the silver Clark crest from her bodice. The pin clattered on marble. "I'm leaving. I renounce the Clark name." "Then go. You are no daughter of mine." Inside Clark Manor, Bridget Clark's old life was over. Bridget stepped into the storm, rain soaking through her gown. The wolfsbane lace cut on her shoulder burned like fire. Her vision blurred as she staggered down the gravel drive. Her legs gave out near the King's Road. She collapsed onto wet grass, consciousness fading. The sound of carriage wheels cut through the storm. A magnificent black carriage stopped beside her, its doors bearing the golden Ravenshade crest. A man emerged dressed in a black military coat with silver epaulets. His face carved from marble, his eyes golden and ancient. King Aldric Ravenshade knelt beside her in the mud without hesitation. "I have been searching for you, little wolf," he said, his voice resonating with barely contained emotion. He lifted her with infinite care. "It is time I took you home." "Who are you?" Bridget whispered. "I am the one who never forgot, the one who has been waiting since the night a brave girl with auburn hair found a dying rogue wolf in her family's rose garden." Bridget's eyes widened. "You were the wolf in the roses, 15 years ago." "Yes, you saved my life when I had nothing." Aldric settled her into the carriage. "And now I will give you everything you deserve." "To Ravenshade Palace," he commanded. "Summon Lord Thaddeus Grimwood. We have a blood-binding ceremony to perform before dawn." "Your Majesty, a blood-binding is permanent. I have waited 15 years to find her. I will not wait another moment to make her mine." The carriage rolled toward destiny. Bridget woke in a vast chamber of black stone and silver. Her shoulder no longer burned, the wolfsbane was gone. "You're awake." Aldric stood in the doorway. "You're at Ravenshade Palace. Your wound has been treated. Why did you bring me here?" 15 years ago, I was hunted by assassins. You found me dying in your rose garden. You brought me water, bandaged my wounds, returned each night until I could travel." His golden eyes burned with intensity. "You saved my life. I vowed to find you. You don't owe me anything. I'm offering you sanctuary, a blood-binding marriage that will make you my queen and protect you from anyone who wants to harm you. That's permanent, unbreakable." "Yes." Aldric's gaze never wavered. "I won't force you, but if you agree, you'll never be powerless again." Lord Grimwood entered. "Lady Bridget, a blood binding links your souls. You will feel each other's strong emotions and be bound until death." Bridget stood. "If I agree, help me find out what really happened to my mother." Something dark flickered in Aldric's expression. "Done. I've already begun investigating Lady Isolda's death." "Then let's go to the chapel." At midnight, they stood before the ancient altar. Grimwood drew a silver blade, cutting their palms. Their blood mingled. Power exploded through Bridget as she felt Aldric's emotions: devotion, longing, protectiveness. "I, Aldric Ravenshade, claim Bridget Clark as my queen, my mate, my equal." Magic settled into her bones. She was no longer a rogue wolf, she was queen. 3 days later, Lord Ambrose arrived at Ravenshade Palace, Lady Genevieve beside him in fine silks. "Your Majesty," Ambrose bowed, "I come with humble apologies. There was a terrible misunderstanding regarding Cassion." "Misunderstanding?" Bridget's voice was ice. We were hasty, the physician determined. Cashin consumed wolfsbane accidentally. You were innocent, and we wish to welcome you back. Perhaps you might visit for a reconciliation dinner this Sunday? After they departed, Grimwood produced documents. Lord Bartholomew Crowe, a depraved aristocrat, had paid Ambrose £20,000 to deliver Bridget to his estate. The family dinner was the trap. They were going to sell me, Bridget whispered. Yes, Aldric said, fury contained beneath his calm. But we can use this trap against them. Sunday arrived. Bridget and Aldric entered Clark Manor as dusk fell. Genevieve poured wine, her hand trembling. A toast, Ambrose announced, to family reconciliation. Bridget lifted the glass to her lips. Aldric moved with supernatural speed, knocking it from her hand. Royal guards flooded the room. Lord Crowe appeared at the stairs. Clark, you said she'd be unconscious. He stopped, seeing Aldric. Lord Crowe, you are under arrest for conspiracy to kidnap a royal person. As Crowe was dragged away, Aldric turned to Ambrose. His alpha power forced every wolf to their knees. You conspired to sell your daughter. You will sign the severance, removing Bridget from the Clark bloodline and relinquishing all claims. Ambrose signed with shaking hands. One more thing, Bridget said. Mother's locket. Genevieve surrendered it with trembling fingers. As they left, Bridget said, I'm finally free. The grand ball at Emberley Estate glittered with supernatural aristocracy. Bridget descended beside Aldric, her midnight blue gown catching light, her crown marking her as queen. Countess Vivian Emberley appeared in emerald silk. Your Majesty, and the new queen from rather humble circumstances. Queen Bridget, Aldric corrected coldly. Of course, though I wonder if she's prepared for court demands. Vivian's gaze raked dismissively over Bridget. Some things cannot be learned overnight. You're right, Countess. Perhaps you could teach me unless your knowledge is limited to simpering and scheming. Gasps rippled through nearby nobles. Vivian's eyes flashed gold. Careful, girl. You wear a crown, but you're still just a cast-off. And you're still just a countess addressing her queen. Perhaps you need to remember etiquette. Lord Damien stepped forward. Your Majesty, perhaps I might offer Queen Bridget a tour of the gardens? The political trap was elegant refuse and appear controlling, or allow Damien access. I'll take the tour. Lord Grimwood can accompany us. In the increasingly secluded gardens, Damien stopped beside a fountain. Does the Alpha King truly value you, or are you simply a debt repaid? My mother and I could help you navigate court politics. His hand moved toward her waist. Bridget caught his wrist in an iron grip. Touch me again, and lose the hand. It's your word against mine. I will. Aldric emerged from shadows. You put your hands on my wife. He lifted Damien by the throat. Any unwanted touch is assault on a royal person. He's not worth execution, Bridget said. Make an example instead. Aldric dropped him. You are stripped of your title and banished from court for 1 year. The royal council chamber fell silent as Aldric announced, I propose to wager £500,000 on Queen Bridget's diplomatic abilities. Duke Thorne scoffed. Your Majesty, with respect, Queen Bridget has been royal for less than a fortnight. If Her Majesty can unite the 3 fractured northern pacts within 1 month, she proves her worth, Countess Vivian said smoothly. If she fails, the Emberley family gains control of half the royal treasury. The northern pacts have been at war for 50 years, Lord Ashford noted. Then it's time someone did, Bridget spoke. I accept the wager. Bridget traveled to each territory. Duke Thorne of Ironwood received her in his war room. The Stormcrest pack killed my father. Why would I make peace? Because the wars destroy all 3 packs. Your warriors die for nothing. Your people suffer. What do you propose? Meet with me and the other alphas. Neutral ground. Just leaders talking. At Stormcrest territory, Alpha Lioness said, Duke Thorne murdered my brother. I owe him vengeance. Vengeance or peace? Which one lets your children inherit something besides war? Bridget challenged. I think it takes more courage to end a fight than perpetuate one. Lyanna laughed bitterly. You have spirit. Very well, I'll attend. At Nightshade territory, Alpha Silas received her in an enchanted grove. The arrogant young queen, thinking she can solve what generations couldn't. I'm not arrogant. I'm desperate. I have 30 days or my enemies gain power. You need the wars to end. Our motivations align. Bridget revealed, 50 years ago, all 3 packs were allied under a blood treaty. It can be reinstated. Silas laughed. You clever girl, I wouldn't miss this. At the stone circle, 3 alphas circled Bridget with suspicion. This is pointless, Thorn growled. We could spend the month reciting grievances, or we could honor the blood treaty your grandparents made. She produced the ancient document. This treaty bound your pacts. It was dissolved through deception, not legitimate grievance. She pulled out more documents. Duke Ashford has been manipulating all 3 pacts for 50 years. He profits from your conflicts while you bleed. The alphas exchanged glances. He played us, Thorn said slowly. The blood treaty requires a sacrifice from each alpha, something precious willingly given. Thorn offered his father's sword. Lyanna offered her brother's memorial stone. Silas offered his grandmother's spellbook. Ancient magic blazed through the circle. The treaty glowed, binding them. It is done. The northern pacts are united. Back at the palace, Lord Grimwood spread documents. Lady Isolde Clark's death certificate was signed by Dr. Cornelius Webb. He worked at St. Helena's Sanatorium. Financial records show Duke Ashford has been paying maintenance costs. A place to hide people, Bridget realized. What if both our mothers are alive? Grimwood produced patient transfer records from 15 years ago. Isolde C. and Morgana R. 2 female patients transferred to St. Helena's after the fire at Ravenshade Palace. We have to go there, now. Aldric nodded. Grimwood, assemble the royal guard. We leave at dawn. St. Helena's Sanatorium rose from the moorlands like a curse-made stone. Dr. Webb stood waiting at the entrance, ancient and shaking. Your Majesty, Duke Ashford sends his regrets. Where are the patients? Aldric demanded. There are no patients. Aldric's alpha power forced Webb to his knees. Where are Isolde Clark and Morgana Ravenshade? Webb crumbled. Special wing, 3rd floor, east side. They raced up crumbling stairs. The special wing was locked behind iron doors inscribed with suppression runes. Aldric shattered the doors with raw power. Beyond lay a corridor of cells. 2 at the end showed signs of occupation. The first cell contained a woman with auburn hair gone gray, thin but alive. Her green eyes focused slowly. Bridget? My daughter? Bridget sobbed. Aldric broke the door open, and Bridget gathered her mother into her arms. I'm here, Mama. You're alive. In the second cell, a woman with dark hair and golden eyes stirred. Queen Morgana looked at her son with desperate hope. Aldric? My boy? Aldric stood frozen, then moved, breaking the door and embracing his mother. I thought you were dead. They told me you died in the fire. Lies, all lies. Isolde's voice grew stronger. Ashford feared powerful she-wolves who wouldn't bend to his manipulations. Morgana and I were investigating his schemes. We got too close. So he orchestrated the fire, Morgana continued, made it look like I died, and convinced my husband I was insane, Isolde added bitterly. Come, we're taking you home. As they descended, Webb begged, Ashford will kill my family. Then testify against him. The royal court assembled for the trial of traitors. At the center, chained in silver, stood Duke Ashford, Countess Vivian, Lord Ambrose, and Lady Genevieve. On their thrones sat Aldric and Bridget. Beside them, Lady Isolde and Queen Morgana. Duke Ashford, you stand accused of high treason, conspiracy to commit murder, kidnapping of royal persons, and manipulation of pack wars. How do you plead? I only sought stability. By imprisoning my mother for 15 years, Aldric's power flooded the room. They were investigating matters that could destabilize the realm, or your greater profit. Morgana cut in. We found the ledgers. 50 years of selling weapons to packs you'd manipulated into war. Dr. Webb testified about maintaining the secret asylum, drugging and suppressing powerful she-wolves on Ashford's orders. And the fire at Ravenshade Palace, orchestrated by Ashford. He hired mercenaries, then faked Queen Morgana's death. The court erupted in shocked whispers. Lord Ambrose Clark, you attempted to sell a royal person and falsely imprisoned your wife. Ambrose looked small. I was told Isolde was insane. I believed Ashford. You wanted the power more than the truth, Isolde said steadily. Grimwood presented genetic testing results. Lord Cassian Clark is not the biological son of Lord Ambrose Clark. His true father is a human stable hand. The revelation sent shockwaves through the court. The precious heir you chose over me isn't even yours, Bridget said to her father. Ambrose had no response. The verdicts came swiftly. Ashford sentenced to execution. Ambrose and Genevieve stripped of all titles. Vivian exiled. 3 days later, the coronation ceremony took place in the ancient stone circle under the full moon. Every pack in the realm attended. Bridget wore silver and midnight blue, her auburn hair crowned with a diadem of moonstones, her mother's stones, reset into a queen's crown. Lady Isolde and Queen Morgana stood as witnesses, recovered and regal, ready to serve as royal advisors. The 3 northern pack alphas Thorn, Lyanna, and Silas came forward to swear fealty to their queen. All hail Queen Bridget Ravenshade, Queen of Wolves, uniter of packs, bearer of the blood bond. Aldric took her hand, raising it high. Through the bond, she felt his love, his respect, his certainty that she belonged exactly where she was. Later, in the private gardens, Bridget sat with her mother beneath the roses. I found your journals, Bridget said softly, hidden in the walls of our old rooms. Isolde smiled through tears. I always hoped you'd find them. Bridget opened to the last entry. My dearest Bridget, if you're reading this, then I am lost to you. But know this, I always saw your strength. You were born for greatness. You will do magnificent things. I believe in you. With all my love, Mother. Aldric and Morgana joined them. The 4 sat together as the sun set to mothers, to children, all reunited. What do we do now? Bridget asked. Now, Aldric said, pulling her close, we rule, together, as we were always meant to. Now, Isolde added, we teach them that underestimating women is the deadliest mistake. Then let's begin. The end.
If alpha intensity, soulmate sparks, and thrilling wolf world secrets are your jam, subscribe now so you don't miss it. Fresh episodes drop every day, and the twists will have you hooked from the first howl.